Hello and welcome to Won't Be Forgetting That, a podcast talking about all of the most awkward and embarrassing moments of people working in the arts and entertainment industry. I'm your podcast host, Seb Muirhead, and today we have a guest. They are an actor, a producer, a director, Cecilia Low.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming on, mate.
Thank you for having.
That's all right. So I've recently in the podcast been starting off with compliments for my guests because
nice.
I know, right? It is nice because I bring people on that I genuinely admire their work and then get them to talk about the lowest points in their career. And especially with a lot of live performers, I make it sound like they're terrible at their job, but I'm only unfortunately getting them to talk about the worst points of their job. So I like to start off with a little compliment now, if that's quite all right with you.
I would love a little compliment.
Perfect. SugarHope Records.
Yes.
Little 4-part web series. Love it.
Oh, thank you.
It is Jude Pearl as our star. It's even had a few friends of the show as well. Matt Stewart and Shamit Siva as well feature in it.
Yes.
I binge watched it all, and then when I reached out to you after that, I rewatched it all again as well, which I would suggest everyone to do. It'll all be in the show notes too, so all of you beautiful perverts listening, please go and watch it. But you had about 74 different credits on it, did you?
You watched the credits.
Yeah.
Yes, it was... it's a passion project. So it was independently funded by Jude Pearl, who wrote it.
That's awesome.
And starred in it, yes. And then myself producing and...
directing and first ADing
and a few other
production
things,
designing.
And then Cameron Zag, who's the brilliant cinematographer, he also... So both of us are kind of co-producers as well.
Yeah.
So we gave up our time, that was part of the self-funded nature of it. And when it's independent, you kind of have to wear a few hats.
More than a few hats.
Yeah.
But I mean, it turned out genuinely fantastic as well. But my God, that must have been stressful.
Yeah, it was. Look, interesting thing, took 5 years.
5 years.
5 years. That did include lockdowns and blah, blah, blah. So we did shoot it kind of slowly because we needed to fit it in with other projects.
Oh, of course. Especially with like the self-funded stuff and smaller projects. You have to work around so many different people's, paid work, essentially. That's what it is a lot of the time, unfortunately. Yeah. But like actually getting the product made at the end. I'm serious. Almost every podcast, I'm fucking amazed anything gets made ever. So actually having something made, especially after 5 years, is so impressive. And then to have a good product at the end as well. Thank you.
Yeah, it was the hardest part was probably just keeping us all together. Not that we didn't want to do it, but it'd been going on for so long, and it's how do we keep the troops, going? But I think I'm genetically wired to finish things, which is annoying for some people. But I
don't know. It's
good.
nice having a finished product sometimes. I reckon.
That's what I thought.
We've worked on a project together as well. Where you're like, I don't know when that's going to be finished. / if it's going to be finished. So you put in so much time and effort. You're like, at least show us something for it, guys, please. This is not calling out anyone in particular as well. I just want to say that just now. Ooh. But I genuinely would encourage everyone to go and check out. It's 10-minute episodes?
Yeah, 10 to 12-minute episodes. Yeah. It's on YouTube, Jude's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
SugarHope Records. Go check it out.
Yeah, fuck yeah, that's great. Well, we've got the compliments out of the way, so unfortunately now it's the time for all the horrible stuff, bringing up past traumas, dealing with all of these terrible things we've pushed deep down inside of us.
I've got my tissues.
Yeah, good, perfect. I will have to borrow them as well. But I usually like to ask the guest to maybe if they have a particular way they like to tell their stories, or if they've got groupings of stories. TV commercial editions always seem to make their way into them as well. And then sort of leave the most salacious ones till the end, keep all these beautiful perverts listening until the end, so we have something nice and juicy for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you came in with any particular ideas of how to tell them, and I would be remiss not to ask if you do have any TV commercial edition stories as well, because they consistently seem to be the most cooked ones for me personally anyway.
I have an audition one, but it's not a TV audition.
That's all right. So I will allow it.
So before my sort of film career, which really only started about 7 years ago, I was musical theatre.
Yeah, wow.
Lady. I was
That's hectic. Musical theatre sounds like a nightmare. Yeah. I love musical theatre, but I do not know if I could work in it.
Yeah, you need to be young and have a lot of energy and a bit bonkers. So I was in musical theatre for about 11 years of my life.
Wow.
So
that's hectic.
Yeah, so it was Australia, Asia, Europe, West End. Yeah, so most of my stories do come from there.
No, please, I love it.
They're mainly, awkward, embarrassing. I don't think I go as far as shitting myself on stage. So if you are looking for that, I'm really sorry.
I really am, but it's fine.
Sorry.
I cannot be annoyed at my guests for not doing that because I think, as a human being, most of us try not to, but there's still time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm young.
Yeah,
this could
exactly,
still happen.
right? But I'm happy to hear that on your behalf.
Thank you.
I'm slightly upset for my behalf, but there's still plenty more guests out there. I will find this one person. But sorry, you were saying from an audition for musical theatre, was it?
Yeah, so I was auditioning for a musical called Rent.
Oh, classic.
Do you know that one?
I think everyone knows it. Whether or not people know the story of it is a different thing.
Basically, it's taken from La Boheme, the opera, and they've reworked it, set in the late 90s in New York.
Yep.
Everyone's got AIDS.
Yep.
Pretty much everyone dies of AIDS.
Yeah. Very upbeat musical for everyone dying of AIDS as well, which is a weird juxtaposition. But
So, but it's kind of, Middle America, Bryan Adams music / with Stevie Wonder kind of, vibes, good vibes, right? And it's the 90s, everyone's living in warehouse apartments and all that kind of stuff.
Amazing. Nobody works a proper job, but they all have the nicest apartments ever, which is the irony of calling it Rent as well.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. They did a movie version of it a little while back as well, which isn't too bad actually. I don't mind it too much.
So this is the first time Rent ever came to Australia.
Oh, wow.
So this is... showing my age here, 1997, 98.
Yeah, right.
And it was the first time it came to Australia. Jonathan Larson, who wrote it, his parents even came out and talked to us, and it was all super dramatic, and everyone holding hands and singing Kumbaya at the end of every rehearsal. Yeah. So it was actually a beautiful, beautiful show and beautiful cast. The audition process took a year, like back in the day. This was Cameron McIntosh. They took a year. They travelled Australia and New Zealand, and they were trying to find, their amazing cast.
Yeah.
I was in Sydney at the time, and they held the auditions at Kinsella's, which was a club in Taylor Square. Like, it was a really cool club. 3 flights of stairs to get up to the main room and all that kind of stuff.
That sounds exhausting to start off with.
But you're there. You're there. Everyone's lined up.
Is it one of those group style auditions as well, where everyone's...
So there was, I'm trying to remember the order now, but I was definitely asked to do a dance audition, but this was the kind of singing audition.
Oh, okay.
You go in.
Accompanist in the room with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've sent you a song. They sent me Mimi's song, which is one of the lead girls.
Yeah.
They gave me, I think they gave everyone all the same songs.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm lined up. It's supposed to be grungy 90s. It's kind of artists that are trying to pay the rent, right?
Yeah.
So... And there's all us misfits on the staircase. Like, I tell you, everyone in Sydney was auditioning. And I was there. I decided to wear, like, long black boots and, like, my underwear over my, my skivvies on top of, just trying to look super cool.
Yeah, because you're trying to stand
probably
out,
a bit
right?
weird.
Which also works for Rent.
Exactly. And I was singing this song, and I remember I was lining up. I was about the second... I had 2 more to go. So I'd been waiting for about an hour and a half. Getting up to the main room, and then all of a sudden, Christine Arnoux walks up past everyone who'd been waiting, walks past me and just goes straight in.
Oh, okay.
I was the next one in, and she goes straight in. I was like, okay, well, it's Christine Arnoux. Fair enough. She's Christine Arnoux.
Yeah.
So they let her in, and I was so close to the room that I could hear her singing.
Oh, God, I hate that.
And she was singing the same song that I was given.
Yeah.
And she was amazing, like she was cutting an album. I was like, oh my God, my heart was beating. I was like, this is the worst.
I don't want to hear other people auditioning, whether they've done a terrible job or a great job. It always affects me in a negative way.
And the song that you're singing as well.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I was like, so she came out, I gave her a smile. I was like, all I want to do is just be swallowed up by the earth and go. I don't even want to go in.
Of course.
I don't want to go in. This is ridiculous. So anyway... Yeah. And I called my name, I went in, and I kid you not, I went to the middle of the room, I started the same song, and there was about 6 people on a trestle table, all the directors
just
and
staring at you.
Exactly. No, well they weren't. No one looked up. They all they were just writing like they were writing notes from And I was trying to do kicks and be really cool. I could hear my voice was shaking, and all I could think of was, oh, Christine Anu can totally sing this way better than me.
Yeah.
And I finished it and, someone went, oh, thank you. We'll call you, we'll let you know. And then I left and I remember getting on the bus and just burst into tears. I was like, oh, this is it. I'm leaving the industry.
God, it's so sad when you have it. Like, first of all, and a massive audition like that is like, that could be career changing. But then the complete opposite of how you want to feel leaving it as well. You're like, this is before self-tapes and everything. So.
Oh, absolutely. I was just so embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it just felt like a number. But I actually ended up getting the job a year later.
Shit.
They took a year to cast and they called me in and said, hey.
Fuck, that's amazing.
And I ended up understudying at Christine.
Wow.
And there were 3 Mimis, and by the time we got to Melbourne, I was on for Christine all the time because she was cutting albums and being Christine Anu, and she's like,
of course,
I don't have time to do this show. And so...
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was awesome. And actually this leads me to another embarrassing moment.
Yes.
Which is actually embedded in the show. Have you seen the show?
I've not seen the musical. I've seen the movie. I know it's terrible. I've never seen it in person.
It's all right. Some people just aren't musical theatre people, and I totally get
I really am. I love the newer version, the newer style of musical. So I love Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Anything like that. I Come From Away or something like that. I eat that up.
That was great.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Saw it twice.
Beautiful.
Love it.
I think Rent's coming back, actually.
I think it is, right? I think I've seen the casting for it going around. So I'll catch it then, I promise.
That's all right. Anyway, so this was a few shows in Melbourne. So I was going on for Christine in the lead of Mimi quite a lot at this stage. And spoilers, by the way, if anyone's
not seen
bad
this
luck.
20, 30-year-old musical,
I at the end of the show, 7 people have died of AIDS, and Mimi's I've got AIDS, and I'm singing, I'm lying in the arms of my lover who hasn't got AIDS, and he's singing me a ballad, and anyway, I cough and splutter, and I die, I cark it. Which is great. Every actor's dream to die on stage. I mean, who doesn't want to die on stage? It's great.
And to have that as the climax for the show as well.
Great.
Yeah.
But in true classic, got to have a happy ending American way.
Oh.
I have to cough and splutter and come back to life.
Wait, what?
Oh, it's so embarrassing. And because in Australia, where I guess us Australian audience is a little bit more, we like a bit more realistic kind of shows. I think,
right.
Compared to the Americans, they just always love a happy ending. Can't really have anyone dying in our faces.
No.
Got to always be positive.
Everything's through the rose-tinted glasses there. And Australian, and I'm British myself, and we love miserable shit.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, you want that more realistic. You want something a little bit more drab.
So there is nothing worse than dying and then coming back to life on stage as an actor. It's
impressive.
The worst, because every night, I kid you not, every night I would, come back to life.
Yeah.
The first 10 rows would just laugh.
Oh, no.
And, it's serious. We're supposed to be, because everyone else is on stage just, oh, my God, Mimi's alive. Oh, my God. But the front rows are just like, this is stupid.
Which is fair enough. It fucking sucks for you.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, God, I don't have to come back to... And you know that I'm kind of laughing with them, but also I'm...
You can't. You can't laugh with them because you're doing your job on stage of coming back to life.
Yeah.
That's such a bizarre ending.
Eggy.
I don't think I've seen that ending in it as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, when I say she dies, everyone thinks she's dead.
It would make the most sense if
and
she
it would
did
make
die.
more sense.
Yeah.
But no, we had to have a happy ending. So.
She came back to life and lived happily ever after.
With AIDS.
With AIDS, yes. In the 90s
In the
well,
90s, so I don't know how long she really did live.
No, one more hour after that. But that's hectic.
Yeah, weird.
There's nothing worse than the audience laughing at you.
I know.
With you's great.
Yeah. But
at you in a comedic sense is, you're like, a laugh's a laugh, but when it's such a serious show and you've done so much work in it, and then
they're laughing at the writing,
right,
and you're just this conduit, and you're like,
and you're like almost wanting to wink at them, and you're like, I get it, like I know this is awful as well, but there's nothing I can do, like there's nothing, I'm stuck in this thing.
I know, and the rest of the actors on stage would kind of be looking at each other with like gritted teeth and like wide eyes going, oh, here they go again.
And that's all that's going to get commented on afterwards as well. Before you be like, why did she come back to life? And you're like, oh, don't pay attention to the rest of the show, please. We put so much blood, sweat and tears into this. Oh, that's a rough one though, isn't it?
But I was that aside, Rent was amazing, so it was so great to be part of that show.
Yeah, no, that's
first
great.
Came.
Just that weird little sprinkle of something at the end of the show each night instead. But it's always rough when it is the end of the show too, because that's what people take away. Like if that happened at the start, nobody would remember it.
Yeah. True.
But oh dear me. Well, I suppose from those two embarrassing moments, you did get to tour and Rent as well, so like something good came of it at least.
Absolutely, yeah. I was super lucky. We actually just did Sydney and Melbourne. So it was back in the 90s. I think it was the last show Cameron McIntosh had in Australia.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I think we finished in Melbourne. I had bright pink hair.
Oh, wow.
Short, bright pink hair. That's right. And, I could be seen anywhere. On the tram, in the clubs, and it was...
Did you get recognised much afterwards? I mean, it's very hard to miss, obviously, when you have bright pink hair.
Back in the 90s,
Yeah, and especially, I presume, before wigs were such a thing in musical theatre as well.
Yeah.
Real bright pink hair.
Mm-hmm.
That's sick,
I went all the way.
I love that. I love having a cheeky wee hairstyle for a role, and then I also love getting rid of it when the role's done as well.
Yeah.
It feels like you can drop the character and
absolutely
become a regular-ish human being again afterwards.
Well, that reminds me, actually, Rent got so big in Melbourne that we would have people lining up around the theatre because they'd release $20 tickets every night.
Of course,
they did that thing. And so
lottery or whatever it is.
Yeah, people would just go crazy for it because, Christine was in it, Roger Corser was in it, who's Roger now, and Natalie Bassingthwaite. No, they all weren't names then, but it was such a beautiful show.
Yeah.
And great cast. And I remember one show, I think it must have been close to the last show. It was bonkers. We got out a stage door and where were we? We were at the where were we? Not the Capitol. We were at Her Majesty's.
Ah, yep.
One of there around there. No, the Comedy. Sorry, the Comedy. It was the Comedy. Yes. And we got out stage door and there was just a sea of people just screaming and going crazy. Wow. And I came out and someone grabbed my hair.
Oh my God. Don't do that. For anyone listening as well, don't do that.
Because they I want to know if it's real. And I was like, yeah, it's real. And they were calling me by my state that they were just not different. Yeah, it was really this is not right. This is...
I mean, first of all, never touch performer, obviously.
No, don't touch us. We're fragile.
We're so fragile, emotionally especially. But you can just ask as well.
Is that a wig? They were a bit loopy.
Yeah, right. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's lovely to have adoring fans as well.
Nice.
But you do need a little bit of separation, especially from you, the actor, and you, the character.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not Mimi, I promise. I'm just going to let you down with who I am in real life. I'm so sorry.
Exactly.
But yeah, wow. Oh, I mean, but that's such a cool story as well. Rent's such a fucking massive deal. But that sucks to be accosted outside of your work. Have you had many other interactions with your adoring fans as well?
No, that was probably the biggest, weirdest,
the most
moment.
full-on one. Yeah.
Do
you get a lot of? I recognise you.
When I was younger,
a
lot of people used to think I was Kate Sobrano.
Oh,
which was really nice.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s again, I used to be like, oh, that's quite nice, but no.
It's nice to be mistaken for, attractive people.
Yeah, and very talented.
Yes, exactly, right?
Yeah.
I don't get mistaken for anyone anymore.
No, who did you get mistaken for?
Well, not mistaken. I always got told I look like younger versions of people, so Ewan McGregor, but I think it's also because I'm Scottish.
Sean O'Connor.
Sean O'Connor.
Sean
O'Connor's his Irish cousin. I never got that so much for when I was younger. Or I suppose when he was younger as well, because he's... Oh.
Is he still with us?
I don't think so, actually. Oh fuck, sorry Sean O'Connor. But I always got the younger version of people. I never got mistaken for anybody at their current age. So I was never mistaken for that. But you know how it is, you're on TV commercials and people are like, are you on this? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. And you're like, are you taking the conversation anywhere else?
Yeah,
you're just telling me that you've seen this advert.
Or they'd start talking to you like they know you. But they can't quite know where they've seen you, if they've bumped into you at the supermarket or, oh no, they've seen you on a commercial. Or,
And they're like, halfway through it, they're like, when was the last time we... Bye. And it's always so awkward as well. But it's lovely as well.
No,
most of the time it's really nice.
Yeah.
People's interactions like that kind of stuff's really nice. But it has very much been I'm an idiot as well. I've got brain damage from the stunts over the years, so I'm like, have I met this person too? Because they're so familiar, or they're acting very familiar with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh god, this is just one of those things. So I'm just gonna politely be like, yeah, mate, how are you? Because especially being on set, you meet so many fucking people all the time. And especially during COVID, everyone was wearing a mask, and I cannot recognise people under a mask.
No.
So, like, even ADs and stuff, I'd be like, oh, hi, I'm looking for the AD. I'm like, yeah, it's me, Matt. And I'm like, oh, sorry, man, I didn't, oh, how are you?
It's amazing. Like, yeah, because... Well, the actors on set during COVID, they were the only ones that didn't have masks.
Exactly. So right. And everyone's staring
everyone
at you all
knows,
the time anyway.
But then all you get is eyes.
Yeah, eyes, and then in the winter in Melbourne, it's always a hat or a beanie or something like that, so it's just the eyes you get to see.
And you're like, I'm really sorry that I don't remember your eyes.
I know. And then you kind of just pick up on a lot of the time it's people that are wearing crew jackets from other jobs, and I'm like, all right, you worked on Preacher. Who do I know that worked on Preacher? So it's trying to piece it together like that. Yeah. But then you've been standing staring at this person in the eyes for 10 seconds without saying anything. So I always find that really awkward for myself personally anyway. Moving on from that, though, did you have any groupings of stories that you wanted to tell together at all? Or did you want to... people sometimes love to tell the old chronological order as well.
Yes, well, that was my idea.
Yeah, beautiful. Let's do that.
We started with Red. I'm actually just going to go back a little bit.
Oh,
to 1991.
Oh, yes, the beginning of the 90s.
Beginning of the 90s. This is not musical theatre. This is a music band thing.
Yeah,
I was in a hip-hop band.
Oh, no shit.
We don't call them bands. Hip-hop outfit.
Group, yeah.
Group. We were called Too Strong, T-O-O.
Oh,
Too
nice.
Strong. We were 3 MCs. Me and 2 guys, a French Australian and a Yugoslavian Australian.
Oh, wow.
And we also had 3 dancers and a DJ up the back spinning and playing the DAT machine.
Oh, fuck, that's sick.
He was English, that's right. DJ James Ingram from the UK.
That's not the most creative name I'll give. Like more power to him.
We thought it was cool back then. Yeah. I don't know. But so this is before Hilltop Hoods. I'm from Adelaide.
Yes.
And
the birthplace of Hilltop Hoods.
Yes. So this is about 1991, and I think Hilltop Hoods was 95 or 6 or something. So
you're saying that you fathered them in?
Not quite. But we were probably the only hip-hop outfit in Adelaide at the time. And so I was probably in... Year 11. I don't know how I even talked my parents into letting me be in a hip-hop band, but I did.
So for international listeners, that's what, like 17 years old, is it?
Yeah, 17.
16, 17?
Yeah, 16, 17, going, around there. And I mean, I was doing lots of other kind of music and, you know, amateur theatre stuff and blah, blah, blah. And this was just, you know, adding it to the list.
Of course.
And we managed to score a support gig for De La Soul.
Oh, damn.
In the house. Yeah.
Holy shit, that's pretty big as well.
It was...
Back in the 90s too.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It was great. They were playing the Lion Arts Factory Centre. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
And we were pumped.
Oh,
we were
sure.
We were going to sing... We were going to do a twin hype, if any of you hardcore hip-hoppers out there. Twin hype and a couple other things. We also wrote our own stuff, and I used to write my own raps. And we'd done a sound check, and then we got to the gig, and I think at the sound check it was just us.
Yep.
So De La Soul were very kind of, you know, insular and, you know, didn't really kind of chat, unfortunately, because I love De La Soul. And then we got to the gig, and I was to come out first. My mic was wrapped up in the centre, and I was going to go down, and I just had to start, you know, cutting sick on the mic. Did that, came out, and I went for it, and the mic was... nothing came out of the mic.
Oh, the mic wasn't on.
It wasn't on, or something.
Or something.
So I turned to the sound guy, who was the same sound guy as De La Soul, and he just turned his back on me and walked away from the desk.
Jesus, what?
I know. It was... Sorry, I'm streaming. It was, it was pretty heavy and embarrassing, because it was like...
fucked.
Yeah, and my boys were like, you know, hands up in the air, and then they came out and their mics were on, and then eventually mine came on. I know, it was so weird.
Wow.
It was embarrassing and disappointing, because I was like, that's not fair play, guys.
No, and
we're just nice.
Crushing as well, like especially at that age when you're like, this is potentially my big break, and then your first time you step out on stage.
And I could see everyone in the audience were just a bit like sort of shaking their heads. They weren't booing me or anything, but they were just a bit like...
Just had no fucking clue what was going on.
And I think we eventually got it, but it was just this weird kind of... It felt like they were kind of trying to tell us that we can't be too good.
Wow.
That's what it felt like. Or to have someone turn their back on you and not even acknowledge, because I was pointing at him going, can you lift my mic up? Doing
just
the whole
turn it
thing.
on. Please.
So that was embarrassing.
That's
and disappointing.
I mean, disappointing as well, huh? Because you're like, you guys are like international superstars. You don't need to put us down. Like, we're Adelaide locals.
Little old Adelaide, exactly.
And again, presumably the biggest thing that's happened to you for your music career so far as well. You're like,
that's the reason why I'm not in Hilltop Hoods, basically.
So you're calling out De La Soul right now. De La Soul.
That's why.
Public apology is needed.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm saying that, okay?
Yeah.
I don't want to start any kind of feuds, but you can come on for your rebuttal, tell your side of the story, see what happened. Yeah. But that's so fucking shit as well.
I don't even know. It was their sound guy, so they hadn't even come down from their room yet. But anyway, I will move on now.
Sucks as well, because you're supporting them. Surely they'd at least say hi, right?
I don't know. I think back then the music scene was a little bit more competitive as well. Like, not as, I think it's probably different now. Like, we all love and light and we support each other and support.
Yeah, everyone knows how fucked it is.
Yeah. back then it was a bit like, and this, hip hop scene. I don't know why. Yeah, weird. Anyway,
it's weird to cut the rug from under your own feet though. Because you're like, this is your support. Don't you want them to do well?
Yeah.
Like, so the rest of were they scared of you?
I don't know.
Did you intimidate them?
Definitely.
They listened to your sound check and you're like, fuck them up. Yeah. We can't have this.
No way. She is too good.
Yeah. Just cut her mic, whatever. Just cut all power to the stage.
Yeah.
And that would put you on such a back foot for the rest of the set as well. How long?
It was
do you remember how long it was?
I think we just did three numbers. But that was, I remember that was it was a big decision to open with me.
Yeah.
And because I think that was my main kind of rappy one, and then the rest I was kind of singing choruses and whatnot. So
your time to shine, and they just fucked you.
Yeah.
Dogs, De La Soul.
I looked sick though. I had like 148 plaits.
Holy shit!
Like, my whole hair was full plaits right down to my boobs, and big hoop earrings like Money Love, and I was looking great. But
how 90s as well. Fuck, I love it. And that's also, I think, what people are dressing like now again as well.
I know, it's totally coming back.
Yeah.
So are you a 90s kid?
I am. I was born 88.
88?
Yeah, so I'm a 90s child. Yeah, so I remember all that stuff.
Best.
It was. But also, it's really weird seeing the fashion come back now, because I'm like, is that what we looked like back then? That's not good. No wonder our parents were making fun of us for dressing like that.
I know.
Yeah.
Although bomber jackets are cool.
Yeah.
They're always going to be cool.
I was always the skate kid. So I was always like daggy skate with like that, whatever that belt was, it always used to hang down, and way too baggy jeans.
Yeah.
That maybe even led into the early 2000s too.
So did you wear like the full like Feeler suits, or the the full plastic? Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have like the wallet chains and stuff like that, and the baggy t-shirts, and like, horrible stuff. It was a real fucking
And were you always feared of being rolled for your gear?
No.
Oh, we had that thing. I'm probably a bit older than you. So in Adelaide, my boy gang that I was hanging out with, they'd all have their full, we call them plastic suits, because they were just like, Adidas or whatever it was, and their shoes, and they just looked immaculate. And then they're like, man, let's go down the mall. But man, we might get rolled for what we're wearing because we look so good.
We didn't have the good stuff. We never had the on-brand Adidas. We had the 2-stripe or the 4-stripe. We never had actual Adidas.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did used to hear, I grew up in a very small village, so if you ever went to the main city near you, like, watch out, you get off the bus, people are going to steal your shoes if you have good shoes on.
Yeah.
So you never wore good shoes to the city, just in case. Yeah, people would go for your Adidas or your Reeboks. Yeah, so I know what you're talking about as well. I don't think we called it getting rolled. I think it was just getting beaten up. As you do when you're young, and in Scotland as well. Fuck.
Yeah.
But what a rough start as well to the old music career. Only up from there, was it though?
Only up from there. Yeah. Well, my other, so we did Rent.
Yes.
So then I travelled, after Rent, I actually got into another little show called Chicago.
Oh, have you ever heard of it? People, look it up. I have seen that multiple times.
It's a great show.
Yes, musical and the movie. I quite enjoy the movie as well.
Movie?
I do,
bit of Renee, bit of Richard.
I'm such a sucker for musicals. I'm like, sure, this film's terrible, but I love musical numbers, so I'm going to enjoy this regardless.
Totally, yeah. So I was lucky enough to get into the Australian cast for Chicago. We travelled overseas, and then I was 25, I think, and I was like, look, I'm halfway across the world. I've got to keep traveling. This is my golden opportunity to travel the world.
Yeah.
So I ended up moving to London, and in the interim before I got a job, I got a little dance gig.
Oh.
For Audi, like a car company over in Germany, in Berlin.
Oh.
It was like a car expo, but I think we were representing Audi. I don't know. I don't know how I got the gig, but
sounds like, was that like late 90s, early 2000s-ish?
2000.
2000 was it? That was very 2000.
Is it?
We'll get some women to come out and dance with cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like a car expo, and we had full choreography to learn. It was like a 5-day rehearsal period.
Wow, that's pretty hectic for a car expo.
Yeah, it was pretty huge. And I remember being... Oh, that's right. It's all coming back to me now.
Oh, I do apologise. I said this before the podcast. I'm sorry for bringing up all these horrible repressed memories, but thank you for them.
Well, it was a fun memory. It was around my birthday. I was flown over to Berlin to do the rehearsal.
Look, how good is that? Like, just from being based in Britain, you get flown all over Europe sometimes to do a job. Whereas in Australia, you're like, nah, we can't fly you to Sydney. I'm like, I'll fly myself.
It's too far, Perth.
Yeah.
So I got flown to Berlin, but I remember it was around my birthday, and I'd had a pretty hectic, big birthday. Probably went on for a couple of days. Mid-20s. You're
getting paid to perform as well.
You got to have big parties. So day parties, night parties, another day party. I was pretty tired.
Yeah.
And I remember getting to rehearsal, and it was like probably first day, 8-hour rehearsal, normal stuff. Learning choreography, yada, yada, yada. And it was towards the end of the day, and I was given these kind of... gymnastic ribbon things, on sticks. So they wanted us to do kind of...
They're not silks, what are they called? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, ribbony things. Ribbons.
Yeah, ribbony things, yeah.
Ribbons on sticks.
Ribbons on sticks, I believe is the correct terminology, yes.
That's what they call them in the Olympics, ribbons on sticks.
Yes, the ribbon on stick routine now.
Yes. So I was given a couple of those, and they wanted us to, do ribbons on sticks and fly legs around and jump and blah, blah, blah. And I remember doing this one particular move, which required me to do kind of like a splits cartwheel thing in the air. Anyway, hard to explain without showing, which is very hard on a podcast.
Very hard, yes.
But I did this move, I was doing it over and over, and then I heard this pop. And I was like, and everyone heard it. Everyone kind of turned at me, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And I remember thinking, I've just maybe pulled my hamstring, my back of my leg.
Yeah.
Right up near my butt. And I remember thinking, I'll just stretch it out a bit. And I didn't know, but I'd torn my top of my hamstring, back of my leg. But I'd never torn anything before because I didn't know what it felt like. And the last thing you want to do is stretch a tear.
Continually tear it, yeah.
So I
pulling it apart more.
I was like stretching it for the next 10 minutes. Ooh. And all of a sudden my whole leg, well, not all of a sudden, over about the next 15, 20 minutes, my leg went cold. Like,
oh, shit.
Like I just couldn't move it. I was like hobbling and dragging my leg. And I was like, I said... I don't think I can do anymore. And, they're like, looks like you've torn something. I remember sitting that night in Berlin Square just going, oh, my God, I can't even explore. All my dancer mates were going to go out and get stoned or whatever it was because they're crazy. And I was being sent home the next day.
Oh, shit, so you're just done.
Well, when it's torn, and it was...
I suppose so.
You just can't do it. So... I got sent home the next day, but my main concern was that I'd also just gotten a contract with Chicago and London.
Oh, shit.
And that was 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was there's this split routine. You've got to do splits in high heels in Chicago. And I was like, how am I going to do this? So suffice to say, I just laid on my one side for 6 weeks. And why am I'm telling this story because it was awkward and embarrassing because it was where I tore it was right up near my asshole. Like it was so close. I could barely even shit. Like it was so painful.
And you're not getting anyone in there to massage that as well.
No, it was literally just lying on one side for 6 weeks, just praying that it healed. And it did. The first couple of weeks of rehearsal, of Chicago rehearsal, I was just out the back, just sort of...
Fucking terrifying as well, because like with a tear, you're like, this can go again at any moment, because you haven't had time to strengthen it. I mean, you can't even fucking walk on it.
Yeah. But I got there, and So that was funny. It was funny, embarrassing, and very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, uncomfortable is funny a lot of the time, but not in the moment. It is fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's also like, thank God for the 25-year-old body, because it bounces back so much better.
Oh, absolutely. Now I would have, that's it.
That's game over.
New leg, thanks.
Yeah,
New leg.
exactly,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's maybe 6 months for recovery rather than the 6 weeks as well.
Yeah, actually, now I come to think of it, 6 weeks it was probably 6 or 7 weeks. I was good, but now,
genuinely impressive.
Would have been a year.
Yeah, I know, right? And then it'd be constantly going back to physios as well, and especially when it's in there, you're like, oh, I'm sorry, it's just right up my butthole. Can you just fix that, please? I apologise.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I can do here.
Yeah, very embarrassing spot.
Yeah. And it's as well, like, you're away from your support network at that point as well, so you're like,
Mum can't even put me. Yeah.
I know, right? You're like, I just lie in my presumably London drab apartment as well, because there's no nice apartments in London.
No.
Unless you're a millionaire or billionaire now or whatever it is. So you're just lying in this sad little thing. Presumably it's raining all the time outside. All you can eat is fried food because that's all Britain has. And you're just like, wow. And potatoes. That's what we are built on.
Potatoes and strawberries. They do good strawberries.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Which is so weird. Yeah, like the strawberries are the only thing we can seem to grow, which is fresh fruit. Everything else is just like beige.
How long have you been here for?
12 years now.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I've grown to appreciate fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, sunlight, people being happy and being able to go outside. I mean, we are recording on a rather rainy day, but again, it's sunlight and I can see outside without like torrential rain coming into my face, so I'm happy to be here.
And the avocados here, how amazing.
I had one avocado back home and I was like, what is this weird squishy thing? It's disgusting.
And how much did it cost? £6?
£1,200, yeah. It was in a golden box.
Yeah.
But
from
then
Spain or something, and shriveled, and you're like...
Yeah. It's like it's just the seed inside of it. Whereas now you're like, oh, I can just have fresh guac whenever I want. Whereas back home it's like... The guacamole is mostly just onions, and you're like, this isn't fun. This isn't pleasant. It's like a £6 add-on. So I love Australia. Yeah, I'll consistently sing its praises. Not a perfect country, but nowhere is. But yeah, it's much. Everyone's just happier here, I find.
Yeah.
Be nice if there was more acting work, but.
Did you live in London as well, or no?
So I lived in Edinburgh, so we could travel down. It would be like to be expected, and this is back in the day as well, before self-tapes were a thing, that you just get the train down to London for an audition. And I was like, yeah, that's just what it is. And then you come to Australia, and for anyone overseas or that maybe doesn't work in the industry in Australia, they're so against you going anywhere in Australia to work. Like even to Melbourne, like you were saying to Perth, like that's a different planet. You're like, no, but Sydney locals only. And you're like, I will drive up there to work. It's fine. I don't mind. I've got friends. I can stay with them. Like, it's not a big deal, but yeah, it's weird. I mean, Australia's a giant country,
it's
admittedly.
Big. Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. I just got so used to traveling everywhere for auditions, and then if you got booked on a show or something like that, you just get the bus or the train over. Like £8 overnight bus that you'd sleep on, and you'd turn up the next morning and be like, this is my best self just now, I've had all my potatoes in the morning. Yeah,
you have to get your digs ahead of you and all that kind of stuff if you go on tour. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and none of them are nice either. No, Britain doesn't do hotels well. It's either like a beautiful renovated castle or a Holiday Inn, which is almost a prison, I think. No offence to you, Holiday Inn. If you do want to reach out, I'll happily take your accommodation. My apologies to any Holiday Inn listening. But yeah, like Britain's a lot less glamorous, I think, sometimes than maybe other countries. But again, I do love Britain as well. I'm British, obviously. I have to say that. But did you spend long over in London in that case?
I was there 5 years.
Yeah, sure.
I actually ended up getting my purple passport as
well.
So
nice.
I'm British.
Much more useful back then than it is now.
Well, this is why I got it. Yes. I thought, well, I was on a 4-year ancestral visa because my father is... my grandfather was British. He's no longer with us. So I was able to get that 4-year working visa, and then you can just live on a residency forever.
Yeah, right.
But if you want to leave the country for more than 18 months, you lose your residency and you have to start again. So I was like, I should come back to the motherland. So I knew I was going to want to come back to Australia. So after about the 4th or 5th year, I applied for my passport. And I think from memory, I came in just before they started doing the big tests, like all the soccer teams and what's the tube line for this and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So I got in just before that, thank God. And I just had to really, 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 really promise to make Britain my number one country
of residence, yes.
And I never went back.
So, Britain, if you're listening, we are recording this just now in Britain.
I might come back.
But again, it was great to have that passport because you could work anywhere in Europe.
Well, yeah. And I thought, one day I'll buy land in Spain and, all of that stuff.
Retire in Spain. And then you just trot over to Berlin to shoot a TV commercial, and then you go over to Prague to film the next Taken 12 or whatever movie shooting there at that time. But it's easier to work there when you are British now, but since we left the EU Union, which was a bit of a bad idea. And
I wasn't in the film industry over there, so I'd love to go back to make, well, it's not that easy, but...
you just jump in a plane and you're on a TV show.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. But it would be, because I think British television's amazing. It's so good.
Again, I'm biased. I fucking love British telly, though. So good. Hey? And I'm not taking away anything from Australian TV. It's just a bit different. I'm still trying to get work here, Cecilia. All right, so I love Australian TV. Next season of Offspring. I'll come back. I've already been on you, but I'll come back as a different character. But yeah, British, 4 episodes, 45 minutes, 1 season only. The best TV you'll ever seen, and they're just fucking done.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I like that. The writing's so good, and I think they've also just, which is, we are slowly getting better at this in Australia, but the integration of all cultures, and it's just been going on for so much longer in the writing. Whereas here it's still, it's much better, but still a little bit tokenistic.
Yeah, for sure. Hey,
sometimes
and
maybe. Yeah.
Britain's so much on top of so much on top of itself. Sorry, that it's just a melting pot of so many different
it's great.
Nationalities and cultures and stuff like that. So you can't escape it. Whereas in Australia, you can still sort of tuck your head away and hide away from it a little bit more, and then complain that there's too many different looking people on the telly and your voice is still heard for some reason. So
yes.
Yeah, but again, Australia's moving in a better direction with it, but still years behind Britain, unfortunately. Hello. Now, not to interrupt all of these wonderfully awkward stories, but Coffee on Q is back at it again. Introducing the Coffee on Q Filter Coffee Brewing Pack, your ticket to enjoying these embarrassing moments with a perfect cup of coffee. This incredible kit includes a 2-cup V60 pour-over filter brewer, matching filter papers, and 250 grams of their Ethiopian Guji single origin coffee, specially roasted for filter brewing. This is the gift for the coffee drinker in your life, or for an office Kris Kringle, or anyone that says, I don't really want a present this year. And the best part? Well, we've got an exclusive offer just for you beautiful perverts. Head over to www.coffeeonq.com.au, and that's QCUE, right now, and use the code WBFT15. That's WBFT15 at checkout, and you'll score a fantastic 15% off your purchase. So, whether you're brewing up awkward stories or sharing a laugh over a cup of delicious filter coffee, the Coffee on Q Filter Coffee Brewing Pack is here to make every moment extra special. And that will happen with your WBFT15 15% discount. So don't miss out on this incredible deal and the opportunity to give the perfect gift this holiday season. Visit www.coffeeonq.com.au and use WB15 for your 15% discount and start embracing the awkward 1 cup of coffee at a time. But yes, God, we're getting too heavy on this podcast.
Whoa,
oh dear me.
What next can I offer you?
Yes, so are we still in London for our next story?
We are still in London. So I got the Chicago gig, and I actually ended up being in Chicago on and off in prison, I used to say. I used to be in the Chicago prison for about 5 years.
Yeah, wow.
On and off. I did another show in between.
That seems like one of the better prisons to be in, because I know you've been on Wentworth yourself as well, which is a less fun prison by the looks of things.
Oh, well, I was a dodgy officer.
Yes.
So,
got your comeuppance.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers as well. But
I did, yes.
Yeah. But yes, Chicago is a much more fun prison to be in by the looks of things.
And I got to climb the ranks. So when I first did it in Australia, I was 24, 25. And back then, the casting, they were really hot on casting older women, because it's meant to be all about women who've killed their husbands. They're meant to be older.
Quote unquote past their prime. They're no longer wanted by society.
So the ensemble of women in the show were meant to be in the ages of 30 and 40.
Yeah.
And then Velma and Roxy were meant to be 40 and 50. So that's, the show went on forever, so I think they ran out of us old ladies.
Got the young ones in instead.
So when I first joined it in Australia, I was 24, and so I was pretty young.
Yeah.
And I went on board as a swing. Do you know what a swing is?
Yes, but would you like to explain for the audience what a swing is?
A swing in musical theatre terms is pretty much an understudy for all the ensemble members.
Oh, it seems like a fucking nightmare, I'll be honest. You have to know so many different roles.
Yeah.
That would stress me out to no end.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
And I was already a pretty anxious kid. But I was lucky enough to get the role of swing on Chicago, which is only, I think, for 7 women in the ensemble. So
only 7 roles.
I only had to learn 7. Well, better than like 42nd Street or something. Where
That's
it's
true.
Like cast a million. So that was, I could kind of get my head around that. But yeah, it's tricky. You never do a perfect show. You always kind of get pushed around. You never really know. You're always walking around backstage with your notes going, I don't know, is this the right...
Turning up to, not that I have a background in musical theatre as well, but from experiences I've heard, you turn up to work sometimes you're like, who am I playing today? Yeah.
Some months, so you'd go 2 or 3 months you wouldn't be on. Yeah. And then in 1 week you'd be on for 4 different people. Yeah. Like you just, talk about personality crisis. But
that anxiety would kill me, I'll be honest with you.
Actually, and this isn't an embarrassing story, but an interesting one.
Yes.
I was doing Chicago in Australia, and I had a big night the night before. Seems to be, I was quite a party girl, I'm seeming to remember.
Yeah.
But I had a big night the night before, and I was like, oh, great, got in, not on, excellent. I'm going to curl up underneath that table in my dressing room and just sleep.
The dream, you're getting paid to sleep off a hangover or whatever else might be happening.
I was like, this is the life.
Yes.
So I'm dead asleep first act, and then it's interval, and I kind of turn over, I roll over, and I kind of open my eyes, and I clock the stage manager walking in. She points at me and says, "You get up now." Renee's costume. And I was like,
oh shit.
And so basically the lead girl, Roxy, had got a stomach bug and she was throwing up. So her understudy had to go on for Act 2 and I had to go on for her understudy.
Oh my God.
So I was like, oh. Yeah, so that was one of those classic swing moments.
How was that performance that night?
I don't remember. I just, I think I just said, just push me if I'm in the wrong spot.
Yes, yeah. I'm here physically, mentally, different story.
Yeah.
But I'm here for you, I promise.
So, but the London little embarrassing moment was I was playing, I think this was maybe 2005, 4 or 5.
Oh, cool.
And I was playing Go to Hell Kitty. Go to Hell. Go to Hell Kitty. You might remember Kitty has a number where she slides down the bandstand.
Yeah.
Yes. So the band's on stage, beautiful Glenn Miller style bandstand, and it's about 6 or 7 meters high. And me playing Kitty has to get up amongst the trumpets and then slide down one of the kind of banisters of the bandstand to the bottom, all dressed in my underwear and wearing these jewels and my gloves and being all fabulous. Yes. And Go to Hell Kitty's just found her lover in bed with another man and woman. I think there's three of them, and she's just killed them basically, and so she gets arrested and goes to prison. It all happens very quickly, so I get pulled away, and then suave Billy Flynn comes on, and we have a little scene together.
Yep.
Billy Flynn at the time was the Hoff.
What?
Yes.
Holy shit!
The Hoff was great. He is hilarious and
unbelievable.
Lovely.
David Hasselhoff for all you youngsters out there. Yes, but I mean, early 2000s was in everything for some reason.
He was definitely trying
resurgence.
Yes, he was trying to get into all the musicals. I think he did another one in New York. Oh, what was it called? I can't remember now. But he'd basically, by the time I'd gotten into Chicago and London, and around 2005, it'd been around for a while, maybe even 10 years already.
Yeah.
And, it was really about to keep the bums on seats.
For sure.
They often would get a sort of a celebrity or a minor celebrity playing opposite, 2 amazing musical theatre stars.
A little bit of what you'd call maybe stunt casting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'd had like Sasha Distill, and the Hoff had come in for Billy, and we'd had a few other more English stars. One of the ladies from Brookside, Brookside, one of the British TV soapies.
Oh, like Coronation Street or EastEnders or...
Keep going.
Riverside was the Scottish one. Oh, God, this is testing me on my soaps knowledge now.
We had one of the girls come in like that to play Roxy, and, people were just there to see her.
Oh, yeah.
But at this time, we had the Hoff, and he was with us for maybe... 3 months.
Wow.
3 or 4 months. Yeah, 3
pretty decent.
Yeah. And
I want to say as well, like this point, he was making a real resurgence in Britain. He had his own TV show where one of the famous radio DJs would hang out with him and they'd go like through the...
I never saw that.
Yeah, very British stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but like the Hoff was really trying to make his comeback, I suppose. Yeah,
well, it's funny because he was so personable and in true American style, he learned everyone's name that worked on the show within 2 days, like cast, crew, band, stage door, everyone. He was great, but he really loved being a great celebrity. Like he really loves his position in the hierarchy of celebrities and or whatever. And he just ate it all up. Like he was really generous, really open, but also very, very. He'd get bored really quickly, because I guess from TV stuff, you know, and musical theatre is very repetitive.
It has to be, unfortunately.
It's theatre, it's repetitive, it can't change. There's so many cues and things flying around, and you got to do the same thing every night.
Yeah.
So after about 2 weeks of doing the same thing every night, the Hoff was like, nah, we're going to mix this up.
Okay, that's tough to do in a musical, I'll be honest. Again, no background in musical, but I've done a fair whack of theatre, and it's tough to mix things up on the fly in a scripted live performance.
Oh, he was brilliant. And so, because we'd probably about 10 months in, so we're pretty bored ourselves. Yeah. And, half British cast who are all pretty whingy, and the rest of us...
Sounds about right.
Australian or Belgian or whatever it was. And... this Hoff energy came in, and it was like, okay, right, shit's going down every night, stuff. And the poor stage manager was just like a nervous wreck.
God, that sounds like a hard job at the best of times.
Yeah, he'd just do stuff like walk off a different way in scenes, or just really random things. Like one matinee, the Blue Rinse crowd, one matinee. We were, the beginning of Chicago, we're on that wedge, come on, babe, why don't we?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're doing that number. And so Billy Flynn's not on till about the third song. So he's not in the show till, a little bit in. We're doing our, sexy dance, and it was the, matinee crowd, so not full audience. And we're all kind of looking out into the audience. You can kind of see people. And then we saw the Hoff dressed in his costume with his mic on, sitting with the audience.
What?
In the balcony, and he was waving at us.
Did anyone else know it was him, like sitting around him, or?
I think so, because he would turn to whoever was sitting next to, going, I'm in the show. He'd be pointing at us and pointing at the stage and pointing at us.
2 minutes, you're going to see me.
Oh, it was hilarious. So we're like all singing and dancing, trying not to laugh. He'd just do random shit like that.
I love that as well, though. And it's not disruptive to your performance. I mean, it'll catch you off guard, but he's not like upstaging you or anything like that.
No.
It's just fucking fun.
It's fun. He was a bundle of fun. Absolutely. Like, he's just a big puppy dog.
Yeah.
And so we all loved it.
Yep.
It actually broke all the grumpy Brits, and they all got behind it. I mean, we were bored as well. So it's
10 months is like, you're doing the same show 8 times a week, is it?
8 times a week. And
so
also,
you're just losing your mind.
We realised that we could start playing up as well and just blame it on him. It was great.
Oh, he had a scapegoat. And he's gone in 3 months, so he doesn't have... And no one's going to bring it up to him. He's the biggest star there.
Like, one day he came on with a water gun.
Yeah, right.
And just started spraying everyone while he was in his scene.
Wow. I'm sure the techs loved that with the headsets and the microphones, but
the stage manager was livid. Anyway, back to my story.
Yes, we're sliding down the bandstand.
And I get up, I'm in the middle of the bandstand now, and Billy Flynn, the Hoff, has got me by the wrist, Hoff, and he's like, we're doing our scene. And I'm meant to turn to him, and as I turned to him, he grabbed me and just gave me a massive, big kiss on my lips, like a big smack. That wasn't scripted.
Yeah.
And not part of the scene, and just randomly just kissed me right in the middle of, and everyone in the show just went, okay.
Was this a note that we'd missed, maybe? Like, is this...
And I just went, I was just embarrassed and a bit like taken aback. And then we all carried on.
Yeah,
and he had big red lips on his from my lips. It was very funny. Yeah,
that's such a weird thing as well, and like
it was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest people to do that as well. I mean, like
it was weird. Yeah, I mean the Hoff's shenanigans were naughty.
Yes,
and not cool. But were fun for us because we
exactly.
were. Yeah,
context is a lot as well. But yeah, also what a way to take you out halfway through a pretty heightened musical number, and the biggest musical number for that character in the show as well, is it?
For when he gave me the smacker? Yeah, that was for that character. It was kind of just before Act 2, I think. Yeah. Wasn't a number, it was a little scene.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a way to to upstage.
Yeah.
And scare the shit out of you as well.
Upstaging us, yes. Yeah.
But also, like, you know what you're getting with the Hoff. You're not going to get a Tony's worthy performance. And I'm not taking anything away from him. Like you said, he's very happy for where he is with his, like, top-end B-tier celebrity. But, like, he's fun. And he's got the energy to bring with it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he was fucking... whatever his name was on Baywatch, for God's sake.
What was his name? Oh, that one day an actual kit car rocked up at stage door.
Like Knight Rider. The Knight Rider.
There are apparently like 3 or 4 original cars out there.
Wow.
And some rich dude must have had one in the UK and rocked up to stage door and was just waiting for the Hoff to come out and take a photo with his car.
Just wait for him to drive his car away. So again, for anyone that doesn't know, stage door is basically like the staff entrance where all of the staff and celebrities and performers go in, and then Kit or Knight Rider is an old TV show with a sentient car. I think the car was like like his scene partner essentially. It would talk to him and it had a little flashing light which was like his eyes or something in the front. Yeah,
all the boys loved it.
Oh, they did, didn't they? And then looking back at it, you're like, it's kind of cheesy.
Super cheesy.
Yeah, not kind of. It's very cheesy. But it's like peak 90s as well.
It was the original smart car.
It was, wasn't it? And then they tried to reboot it like everything else, and it was terrible.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I missed that.
No, don't worry about that.
Was he in it?
I think did he voice the car, maybe? I don't know.
No, probably.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I mean, I hope he didn't. But maybe he did. I don't know. Again, fucking make whatever you want.
Exactly.
I've not been in everything that's fantastic. Or not everything I've been in, sorry, it's been fantastic. So who am I to pass judgment on TV shows?
Yeah.
But yeah, and also take the work where you can as well. I'm not passing judgment if you've been in it. But yeah, that's so cool. Did anyone turn up in the red shorts and the red jacket at all to watch it?
No.
I feel like people really missed a beat there. Also, it's a weird... I don't know if the Baywatch crowd and the Chicago crowd would have much of like a crossover.
Although
maybe a
lots
little
of
bit.
skin. Lots of skin.
That's true.
Everyone's half naked.
Yeah, exactly. You had your Pam Anderson, you had your David Hasselhoff in the Baywatch, and then, I mean, Chicago is very skimpy little. I mean, except from the guys some of the ensemble guys actually. Yeah, that's true.
A lot of open chests.
Yes, I think it's this David Hasselhoff pretty much that's dressed the entire time.
Yeah,
and Big Mama or the warden's name.
Mama.
Mama, yeah, it is. Yeah, I think they're the only two that are fully clothed the entire time. Yeah, fucking nice looking suits as well. Yeah. Yes, so we've finished up with our Chicago run. Are we still in London for this next part? Or have we moved
one more.
Yes, love it.
So in between my sentences in prison,
yes,
I was released into the jungle and did Lion King.
Oh wow!
Yeah, in West End. So where were we? We were at the Lyceum.
Yeah,
and I got to be a zebra and a blade of grass. And a lioness, and a hyena, and so I was in that for about a year.
That's amazing as well. That's
it was a good show.
One of the. Oh, I mean, it seems like fucking exhausting. I mean, every musical seems exhausting. I'll be honest with you.
Well, when you're dancing with puppets on your head, that's really fucking hard.
I was a peripheral vision. Like, can you see anything?
No. Well, they were very well designed.
Yes.
Like they were very. Ergonomically designed, so
they weren't just a $2 store zebra heads. No.
They were pretty very.
They were designed to dance with.
And designed to dance with, but nothing prepares you to dance with shit on your head like
that
8 days a week or on your back and in London it wasn't a touring show, so it stayed at the Lyceum. And so for any of you who have seen it or not seen it, there's the main set piece is this big rock. Have you seen it?
Parade rock, yeah.
So the rock that comes up out of the stage. So the touring show doesn't have the rock that comes up. Shows that stay in a theatre, they basically come in and rebuild the stage. It's all hydraulically built so that this rock can come up.
Yes.
But the thing with building a hydraulic stage is that it needs to be clearly made of steel.
Yes.
Which is second worst to concrete when you need to jump on it.
Oh, of course. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Yes. And the whole show is jumping, like we're springboks and we're all these animals that jump.
So light on your feet and just slamming into steel every single time.
So, it wasn't really the circle of life backstage. It was the circle of, I'm in so much pain and agony.
Broken feet and rolled ankles.
Yeah, everyone's joints are blown out. I was at the osteo for twice a week for a year.
Isn't that amazing as well? Because you can't show that on stage, obviously. You can't just have a lame springbok or a lame blade of grass. You just really have to push through it, but then you're like, God, this is taking a lot from me.
Yeah,
and it was years down the line as well, where you're like, okay, this is like, I pushed through it at that age because I was 25, 35 now, 40s. You're like, oh, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, it was hard. A lot of people were in pain. And I played. Oh, that's right. I played I got to understudy Shenzi, who is the head hyena, played by Whoopi Goldberg in the cartoon. In the Disney animation. So Shenzi's great. Like Shenzi,
what a fun fucking character to play as well.
It's very cool. She does a cool song about chowing down. And, but the only thing is with that costume. Oh my God, that puppet was full on because you pretty much. Your arms become your front legs of the hyena, and they're on stilts.
Yeah.
And then your back legs are your normal legs. So you're constantly kind of walking around on all fours for the whole show.
Yeah, and you're like a weird 90-degree angle almost. Yeah.
Backache, really bad. But if you played Shenzi, it meant that in the first scene, which is the Circle of Life, whenever all the animals come in and the elephant and all that kind of stuff, it means that the Shenzi character plays the right back leg of the elephant.
Oh, so you play a singular leg of the elephant?
Yeah, because the elephant's so big, each elephant's leg is a person inside.
I mean, that makes sense hearing that out loud now, but when you see it, you're just like, oh, it's an elephant.
Yeah.
The magic of theatre.
Oh, yeah. So this one day we were on, and I was on for Shenzi, so I was in the leg, and we had another swing on, maybe two swings as well, and they were in the front. And you come down the aisle, singing Circle of Life.
Yeah, because that's it. Is a lot of the animals enter from down the aisle as well, so walking by the
audience. And then attached to the big elephant is the little baby elephant, and that's little Nala, and she's in her little costume. So it's all gorgeous, and you get all the oohs and the ahs, and all the grumpy people stop being grumpy in the audience. And
for 5 minutes, and then go back to being British again.
And so, but then you've got to get on stage, right? The elephant's got to get on stage. So you get to the end of the auditorium, and there's some steps, and we rehearsed it, but you had to take the timing from the front, right or left.
That's so hectic,
leg, right? Yeah. And you kind of, because everything was so loud, we could kind of count 1, 2, 3, 4, and no one would really hear. Yes. So we'll all go together. Well, this one show...
Oh, dear.
Something happened. I don't know what happened. We counted wrong. We didn't hear. The dude up the front, in the front leg, got nervous. I don't know. And we all went to go up, and then we kind of paused, and then the whole elephant just fell...
Oh, my God.
...into the orchestra pit.
On top of the orchestra?
Which luckily had a net.
For just such occasions, the elephant net?
In case things fall into the orchestra pit.
Yes.
But it was so funny and clearly, embarrassing. The poor front guy in the swing, he was gutted. He was so devastated.
You would be as well.
Because it was all up to him, and he was super, super crushed. But me and the other back leg, we were laughing our tits
hilarious.
Off. Because all I could imagine was just this massive elephant just, clearly breaking the illusion, but falling into this pit. And I remember we fell, and I just saw this violin bow kind of come up through it was so funny.
But are they trying to poke you back up again?
Yeah, it was just, I think they were having a bit of fun. But, the show had to stop.
Yeah, that's a showstop.
That's a
right
showstop,
there.
ladies and gentlemen. So
just must retrieve the elephant. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, everyone. Just forget that happened.
Yes. How did you get back out again then?
So yeah, I can't remember. We just kind of had to. I think the top part of the puppet kind of fell over, and then we just kind of let it all come off us. If that makes sense.
Like the Power Rangers, the Zordon or whatever it is, you're disconnecting.
Absolutely. So we just had to reset, and then we had to have stagehands come in and put the elephant back on us.
Yep.
And then we all got up on stage and
put the elephant back on you at the bottom or the top of the steps.
I think we might have got up on the top.
Yeah, okay.
Oh no, I can't remember now.
They're like, no, you have to do this.
No, we did do it, and I remember everyone cheered.
Oh, nice.
They were like, yay, they did it.
I see. That's why I love live theatre as well, because you get to see that kind of stuff, and you're like, as long as no one's hurt, obviously.
Yeah.
You're like, that's fucking hilarious. It is cool. And then you're that person that got to see the elephant fall into the orchestral pit as well. And if you, like, as a kid especially, you're like, all you see is this giant elephant, you have no idea how it's working, and then it just topples off just out into nowhere as well. As a kid, you don't know what the orchestral pit is.
Nah.
So this elephant just disappears, and you're like, is that part of the show? That's amazing. And then you get to be like part of it live. Yeah. And again, as long as no one's hurt and no one got in trouble for it, I fucking love that though. That's so good. That's why I love live theatre as well, because I mean it's terrible in the moment, especially if you're that lead leg.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, fuck, it's so fun. Yeah, so again, embarrassing, but maybe embarrassing in the moment, not good in the moment, but I love it. Like with those kind of stories, you can look back and fucking enjoy them. Yeah. As long as you can, like, enough time's passed sometimes that you're like, okay, this is fine, this happens.
Yeah, well, I think for him, he was super gutted. I do tend to like a laugh, so I thought it was quite funny.
Yes.
I do remember him being a bit hurt that I was laughing quite a lot. I'm like, come on, man, there's an elephant falling into a pit.
And what are you going to do afterwards as well now? Like, you can be annoyed as you want. Was he British? Is that why he was so grumpy? Probably. I don't know. Yeah, no, he was. Yeah. Well, there you go. That'd be why then. He was just miserable beforehand. He did that on purpose. Sabotage this show. But that's, I mean, firstly, so cool you're in Lion King as well, but very fun that you fell in a pit as well. Yeah, we fell in a pit. Trapped in a pit, the elephant. Yeah, can't remember the other. Yeah, I think that's all of my musical theatre shenanigans. Well, most embarrassing moments in the musical theatre. So then, did you move back to Australia after that? And did you continue with musical theatre when you got back, or did you kind of make the jump into TV and film? Yeah, I tried to end musical theatre then, but I kind of got back after 5 years. And so this was before, I mean, we did have computers, but, I was still going to internet cafes and, so we weren't as connected. We definitely didn't have smartphones. No. We had maps when we walked around London, pull out your big map. Worst things ever. You take it out and it start raining. You're like, well, this thing's just dissolved now. I don't know where I am. Yeah, no blue dots. No. So I do remember getting back and going, oh, does anyone remember me here? What am I going to do? Yeah, which is so funny because you've just been in Chicago, Rent, The Lion King. But see, I was trying to not do musical theatre. I really wanted to grow and experience other, other things. But I did go back to Lion King for maybe 5 or 6 months. Oh, cool. They had a cast change. So I think they were in their third year here in Australia. So 2006. Yeah. 2006. And so I joined the cast again as a Shenzi cover and a few other things. Yeah. And we went to Shanghai. Oh, fuck. So God, isn't that nice when you get to go cool places? I don't think I've ever been taken anywhere nice for work before, like for shooting. And no offence to any of the places I'm about to say, but I was just recently in Tasmania at the start of the year. Otherwise, it's been Canberra, or have you ever been to Euston? Not Houston, Euston. Where's Euston? It's on the New South Wales and Victoria border. That's where it should be. Yes. And methy little town. Oh. Yeah. Did it feel a bit aggressive as well? We were just filming there, so we didn't really interact with anyone, but we went out to the pub for one of the last nights in filming, and you're like, oh, doesn't feel like the most welcoming place here. Ooh. We had our steak dinner and went back to our motel afterwards. Yeah. Yep. But I'd be like, I'd love to go to Shanghai. I know. I was pretty lucky because I also remember thinking, oh my God, I know this show inside out, back to front. Yeah. Like I can do it in my sleep. Oh my God, I'm in Shanghai. Yeah. You don't need to sit there during the day, going over lines and going over choreography. And I wasn't a swing, so I didn't have to. I knew I was always going to be doing my role. Yeah. I knew Shenzi, so Chicago was amazing. Got to explore that place. Yeah. Shanghai, I presume you mean. What did I say? Chicago. Shanghai. I'm sure Chicago was amazing as well. Never actually got to Chicago proper. No, just spent time in their jail. Yes. But Shanghai sounds great. How long were you there for?
4 months. 4 or 5. So we were...
That's so cool.
This was just before Hong Kong Disney. So I think we were the... This is how big Disney is, guys. They were able to take the Australian cast of The Lion King to Shanghai to say, hey, China, you could have this.
That's amazing.
You could have your own Disneyland. So Disneyland wasn't in China yet.
Yeah.
So we were literally the calling card. We were like the
you were the taster.
We were the audition.
Yeah. Wow.
How crazy is that?
Paving the way for Disneyland.
Yeah. So
that's something else. And especially if you're getting looked after by that Disney dollar as well. I'd imagine they didn't skimp on the cost of most things.
No, it was pretty. They took everyone, and then I think they picked up some of the orchestra and some crew in China.
Yeah.
But pretty much, all the cast. And
I presume you're not sharing hostel rooms there.
No, we were in nice hotels. And
the life.
We were very lucky.
If only that was the way just now with a lot of Australian productions.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, those shows are expensive. I mean, I remember another stat, another Disney stat that the Lion King is the highest selling musical.
Yes, I've heard that.
But it's because of its merch, mainly because of its merch. And it was able to float a whole year of Beauty and the Beast tour in the UK. Float it before it pre-sold its ticket.
Holy shit. And having that money behind you in theatre or musical theatre is a blessing because God knows
expensive.
Theatre is just trying not to lose money a lot of the time.
I know, poor old theatre.
I know, right? Yeah. And it's tough because people don't want to spend that much money on a theatre ticket as well because it's so expensive, but you need to have those tickets that price because there's so many different things that go into the theatre as well. And it's a fucking nightmare, but go and support local theatre if you can.
Absolutely.
But yes, geez, anyway, moving on from that depressing little theatre. But you came back to Australia and then started with the TV and the
it took a while
feature
for me to
film journey.
It took me a while to get into film. I started getting into film in 2015.
Oh, cool.
So I actually branched out. I went back to school and became a remedial masseuse.
Oh wow, very nice.
I didn't give you that as another slashy.
No, sorry, we can put that in now.
I went back to school. I've always had a love for the body, because for being a dancer. So I went off and
also constantly need the massages.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, stuff this, I'm going to learn how to massage myself. So I went back and became a remedial masseuse and my therapist and did all those kind of things.
Yeah, sick.
And I still do treat sometimes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then, but the creative performance bug would never kind of really left.
It's hard to get rid of, isn't it? For better or worse as well.
I think it's expression, right?
It is.
It's I think I realised I needed a break from it to kind of learn, especially musical theatre can be very insular.
Yes.
And back in the olden days, in the 90s and early 2000s, you were really held to your contracts. You weren't allowed to leave contracts to shoot a film or shoot an ad. No. It was really quite insular. And I just felt like I wasn't growing. So I knew I needed to close that door for a bit. And, experience life.
I did exactly the same. I went to drama school. I worked a few years in Britain and then I didn't do anything in the industry, found myself. Yes. And then got back into it probably in the past 7 or so years as well.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that stuff's super good. Yeah. Just because sometimes you need to step out a little bit as well. Being like, I love actors, but God, they're a lot.
Well, yeah, and you can take yourself so seriously, especially if you've studied a lot of it. And also, I think... maybe not just actors, but especially when you perform the performing arts.
Yes,
we do tend to take things quite personally as well, which can really kind of be quite a heavy existence, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you need to kind of get out and just.
I was literally saying this on a podcast the other day as well, but you need to wear your heart on your sleeve, but also you need a really thick skin for reviews. Constant rejection, people talking about you to your face in front of you but not addressing you, or behind your back, whether it's a constructive or I mean horrible things sometimes, but you have all that, but then you need to step in front of an audience or in front of camera and be the most authentic open person ever. It's such a weird juxtaposition.
It's bonkers.
Yeah, it is, right? So you took a little bit of time off.
So I think I needed to for want of a better word, ground myself in being a real person, being a bit human.
No, it's nice being a bit human sometimes, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. And experience, and it is very cliched, but I think the more life experience you have, you can just bring that.
So hard to hear as a young actor. Like you're like, no, I can play anything, and then you get a bit older.
Is life experience just partying? That's what. Yes. Just going.
That is one part of life experience. There's a lot of other parts as well.
Or having other jobs, or just. Yeah. I think I was really into wanting to develop other skills and just see what was underneath. Because up to then I'd really only been a dancer. Yeah. And I shouldn't say only, but I had only experienced myself as a dancer on stage and in musicals.
Maybe the only thing you'd thrown yourself in.
Yeah.
And then there's so many different things that you can just you don't have to worry about your dance practice every day. You can go and do something else and really involve yourself in that thing.
I never really did any dance practice every day. But I was a lazy dancer. But no, the desire to... that desire started at the end of my London time, and I started realizing I wanted to start bringing things together, bringing people together. Making things creating things from a idea to the end, but which is kind of called producing. But I was a dancer at that stage. I was like, how do I get from dancer to producer? It just seems such a big.
Who knows what a producer is a lot of the time as well?
Who is it? What I say? Producers just make people do it.
Yes,
that's what
they do, and they have
just do it.
A finger in every single different crew tent or whatever, and they're managing everyone, and it's a fucking nightmare, and it's such a necessary job, and it's a thankless job, and it's what you need in every goddamn production. And look, clearly in film there are so many tiers of producing. Yes. But the main producing I'm talking about is, I guess, creative on-set producing, or and usually in smaller independent shows there's probably only one or two producers anyway. And I didn't really know how to be a producer. So I just sort of immersed myself in, I think the best way to learn about an industry is to do as many roles as you can, learn as much as you can. And theatre is very different to film. So different. And I had only ever done theatre and big theatre. So film was I was quite nervous about film. I mean, I remember going into, especially as an actor, I remember going into a room with a camera and just being nervous because I didn't understand the energy. I was more used to... It's so hard not to stare into it, and you don't have any run up into the emotions as well. It's it's so rolling and be the saddest you've ever been in your life, and you're like, oh God, yes, okay.
Or I would always get the comment of, let's have a play, let's do something a little bit differently, which is great because that's what you need to do as an actor. But in musical theatre, you never do anything differently.
You're not allowed to.
You can't improvise. So I needed to get out of a lot of habits that way as an actor.
Which is so funny because you're like, from an outside perspective, you're like, no, it's just acting. It's all acting. It's all the same. It is. Such weird, different sub-genres of it. And then especially like the the screen acting as well. You step onto a set and you're like, why is there a million people here? What the fuck is everyone doing? So being able to stay focused and then also tell the story back to front, inside out, not linear, which is musical theatre is always linear. Which is why I love theatre as well. But then sometimes on TV and film, you shoot one scene which is in the script at the very beginning, and you shoot that at the end of your shooting season, and then the next scene is what you've shot 12 weeks ago, and you're like trying to piece all that together emotionally and just mentally as well. Fuck, it's a lot.
It is. It's really, I think that's why I like it, because it's still quite, I mean, I've only been in the film biz for about 7 years, so it's pretty exciting in that way to kind of fine tune that process. But so I just sort of did lots of little filmy things along the way, and then wanted to get back into film acting as well. So I was just trying to do both at the same time. But I don't, I don't really have any embarrassing filmy acting things. I don't think.
So impressive.
I can't think of any. Probably because I haven't done a lot, probably as well.
Nonsense.
I haven't, I've done small roles, haven't really scored any supporting roles or big roles yet. So I'm sure if that happens, I might. But I do have a producer.
Scared by your cat. Sorry.
No, I do have a producer. But I do have something to do with SugarHope, actually.
Oh, yes. Well, can that be our final one to bring it home?
One.
Yes, I love that. Yes. Well, I mean, the perfect time to spruik SugarHope Records as well.
SugarHope Records.
We'll say that 100 times subconsciously get into people's minds.
SugarHope Records.
Yes, perfect.
Did I say SugarHope Records?
No, sorry, what was the name of the show again?
SugarHope Records.
Yes, thank you. So, yes, you again, aforementioned SugarHope Records. You did 5 million different roles on it. I don't think you never appeared on camera, right?
I actually do.
Oh, do you?
In episode 3, I'm right in the distance. I'm playing a bouncer.
Oh, I missed it. I'll have to go for my third rewatch.
I'm all blurry.
Oh, okay. I'll be pause buffering to try and spot you in the background.
I'm not on camera really. I produced it.
Yes.
And played a few. Yes, like you said, a few other roles.
Just a few, yes.
Just a few.
Look at the credits when you do watch it. Look at the credits of each episode as well, because your name pops up every second or third.
It's silly. Who did that?
But you need the credit for the work you did as well.
Yes, it was nice to find. Well, it was quite revealing to
Yes.
see how many things I did. But this story is. The first shoot back in 2019.
So you started filming in 2019.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's amazing. I thought you just started like pre-production. For anyone that doesn't know as well, that's putting everything together, but actually started filming.
So the really interesting thing about this project, and Jude, we're fine with this, is that she actually approached Cam and I. Cam is the DP, cinematographer, because Jude's a wonderful musician, comedian, singer-songwriter.
Oh, fantastic, yes.
And she was like, hey, I want to shoot a music video for this song I've got. But you know, like how Michael Jackson does those scenes before? I just want to do a scene before.
Like a Thriller or Bad or something like that, yes.
We're like, hey, that sounds like fun. So we did that. And then we just kind of kept writing and adding things. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is not how you write for TV and film.
No, this sounds like a nightmare, to be honest.
But we just kept sort of writing all these... She kept writing little scenes, then we just kind of added them on and ad hoc. Which is... and that's hence another reason why it took so long, but was super fun. And so the first time we started shooting... And we probably started doing a bit of pre and writing in 2018, but we started shooting in 2019... And we were guerrilla styles. We had found this. We needed to find. So it's the first, the office scene.
Yes.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. There's a scene in this company called SugarHope Records.
Yes.
And Jude, the jingle writer, she has been tasked to write all these jingles, but also by her boss, who is also head of the A&R section in the record company and the sugar factory.
Which are the same company.
Yeah, they're kind of a hybrid. You know those hybrid companies that don't really know what they are?
Yes.
This is one of them. And there's a scene where Jude is in his office. His name's Lukather.
Yes.
And they're haggling and she's trying to say, hey, man, I wrote all these songs for you. When are you going to put my album out? And he's constantly putting her off saying, hey, it's just not quite right. We need you to write a power ballad, or we need you to write this, blah, 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 blah.
We've got this other person which is doing much better with this genre of music. Try writing something like that.
Try writing like her, exactly. Yes. We all artists love being compared to each other.
Yes, right? So, especially other artists who are more famous than you. I love being compared to them.
Love it. Just do it like her. So that scene, we wanted something... The genre, the era that SugarHope Records was kind of meant to be, is it 80s, is it 90s? Yeah. We don't really know. Like, it's kind of in and out of eras, a bit sort of confusing in that way. And we wanted to find, an office that kind of spoke to that.
Yeah.
So we found, and I don't think it's there anymore. I think they might have pulled it down a couple years ago. But the crossover, we're in Melbourne now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And the... Where is this? This kind of, is it Flemington area? There was the old Chubb building, Chubb Security.
Oh, right.
Is that Flemington? No. What is that area? Anyway, there's massive kind of, it was derelict. I think Tipple was running out of there. And it was, we found, I don't know, someone said, oh no, this great shooting location. We literally had to jump fences and crawl through, like it was naughty.
Oh my God.
Naughty, but very exciting. And
free, which is great for low budget productions.
Yes, we had no money. And it was great. Like, I mean, there were some squatters. We didn't see any squatters, but there were clearly been people, and it was huge. And so we were kind of like, well, we could just shoot in this one area, and even, no one will know.
That's very impressive. You cannot tell from the show that there's a derelict office building. Yeah.
So we kind of went in there, cleaned it up a bit, bought the vacuum cleaner, blah, blah, blah. And And the second day, towards the middle of the second day, we started hearing voices out outside, and we're like, oh, fuck. And it was the developers.
Oh, shit.
The developers rocked up.
What a
and we were
fucking
like,
time to do that.
Oh, we're so screwed. If they don't let us finish, we will have to reshoot everything.
Yeah.
And we have no money.
Oh, yeah. Like, where are you hiring out? Like,
it was the smallest skeleton crew. It was like me playing 4 people in the crew. We had sound guy, gaff person, and camera. And that was it. Like, it was really small. And the actors. And the developers came in, and Cameron, who is the DP, cinematographer, he's pretty suave. He's good thinking on his feet.
Oh, nice.
And we, like, pushed him literally into them and said... We're like, mate, just, I don't know, sort it out. And he worked his magic. He was like, he just talked to me. He was just trying to explain. And Jude was, I think she might have shat her pants a little bit. So that kind of counts.
I'll have to get in touch with Jude to confirm this story, but yes.
Or maybe some smells came out.
Yeah.
But
unsurprisingly, though, that'd be fucking
we were
terrifying.
Like, oh, no, my heart was in my chest. And but it was funny because... And the longer we spoke to them, they could see that we were really, really desperate.
Yes.
And so they were maybe toying with us a little bit, kind of going, and then some of them were smiling a bit, and then they let us sweat it out for maybe, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes. Right. They were walking it out. And then eventually one of them said, no worries, you can finish it, but you have to be out end of the day and you're not allowed to come back. Right. And we were meant to come back the next day, but it was just one scene that it was a separate scene that we were like, okay, if we don't shoot that, that's fine. We'll find somewhere else. But, so, that was our close, not really embarrassing. Call. Well, it was, it was a close call.
It's also embarrassing as an
getting
adult.
Getting
having
caught.
To be like, oh, can we make our little play in here, please, mister?
I know.
And like, they must have been pretty taken aback, presumably not expecting anyone to be in there as well.
No, I mean, they weren't super surprised because I think probably there'd been squatters and whatever.
Yeah.
But they were like, nah, you can't come back.
Yeah.
But just getting caught was pretty. I don't know. It was kind. I felt I was embarrassed more for the fact that as a producer, you're there getting everyone together to do it, and they're like,
I've put people in this position.
And we are actually here illegally. So we
Which
are
is fine to say now afterwards, but you would not tell people that before they start shooting. Yeah,
and so it was a little embarrassing, but we got over the line.
But it worked out in the end.
Absolutely. We definitely can't shoot there because it's not there anymore.
Well, exactly right.
If anyone throws a lot of money at us and they want another season, we'll have to find another office.
Another abandoned factory. Or another abandoned office building. And any takeaway from the story is breaking the law is fine as well. If you want to shoot wherever you want.
Styles,
it's better to ask for forgiveness than
plead
for whatever
what
it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just ask for forgiveness.
That's it. Look, I think when you're a young, new filmmaker, you tend to do some cheeky little things like that.
And again, you're not putting people in danger as well. No. Like, it's just like, well...
It was a bit dilapidated.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was a little bit dangerous.
But you would done that walkthrough and be like...
We'd walk through.
These walls are up. That roof still there. Yep. All right, no, looks good. All right, I reckon this is good. Yeah. And again, we've worked on more dangerous stuff together anyway, so...
Yeah, I was actually trying to think if there was anything embarrassing or...
I don't know if embarrassing necessarily, just soul-crushing. I did one of my most embarrassing moments from that is I was in a live...
Well, I haven't seen any of yours. We haven't seen the other side.
And again, we worked on a TV show together, and by together I mean we were in the show but never in a scene together. We were on opposite teams, so to say. Yeah. One point I was in a live gunfire and I accidentally called out the actor's name instead of the character's name. That was my bad. And I caught myself, and then you're like, oh God, there's guns firing. What's this person's name again? So yeah, Carlotta. My apologies. But you're welcome. I think that's like me showing that I care about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that on the beach?
It was on the beach, yes.
So maybe we were kind of a little bit in a scene together.
Yeah, so probably edited together, but never shared camera space together, It was so funny because, again, that TV show, I don't know what happened with half of it, as I'm sure that you don't know what happened with half of it as well. So it's just like hearing from the other quote-unquote camps being like, so what's your experience been like? And speaking to some of the other people that I used to get lifts with, and they're like, oh yeah, this and this, and I'd be like, oh, that's fucked, this and this happened to us. So it's just sharing traumas.
Yeah. Did you have a lot of ADR to do?
Yes. So we'll see if that comes out ever anyway. But we can talk more after the podcast. I think we should wrap this up for the day. Thank you so much for coming on. Well, I mean, once again, what should we be watching? What should we be watching? What should we be watching? That you have recently made a cheeky little thing called SugarHope
Records.
Yes,
I think you could watch that on Jude Pearl's YouTube channel.
That's Pearl without an A as well. I did
Pearl
not know
without
that.
an E. Perl.
Yes, I will link that in the show notes as well. Go and check out all 4 episodes, then rewatch them. Try and spot Cecilia in it.
Yeah,
you get a prize, not from me, from Jude. Message Jude.
Yeah,
why not?
She'll give you something.
Exactly right. Where else can we find you? Have you got anything coming up that we should keep an eye out for as well?
Coming up, I'm doing a little spot on a TV show called Fake.
Very fun.
With Ash Keddy, and that probably won't be out till next year. I think I'm shooting that tomorrow.
Yeah, very nice. At time of recording, which may or may not be this year when it's released as well. I don't know when I'm releasing these just now. I'm stockpiling a few, but 2024 is when it shall be released.
Yes.
So from what you've told me, sounds like a very good show.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to playing Asher Keddy's therapist.
Yes, which, like every actor, we all need a therapist. So. And then as far as the socials or anything like that, where can people find you? I'm on Instagram, Cecilia Low. Just search me there. I am on the Facebooks, but probably Insta's better. That's all I really use nowadays as well. All these weirdos with X and threads and stuff like that. I can only... I have the capacity to just focus on one. I'm not very good at... I like pictures. That's why I Pretty pictures. Pretty pictures. I want to read things. Just give me bright, colourful things to look at. I am a child and probably have brain damage from stunts. So, but the same as every week, you can find Won't Be Forgetting That Pod across most of the socials. Myself, Seb Muirhead, Muirhead, across Instagram. And I do have a little YouTube channel if you want to check out any of the stuff there. If you did enjoy the episode, please tell a friend. That genuinely probably helps more than anything else, to be honest with you. You can leave us a little 5-star review, write something in the comments. Honestly, as long as you say 5 stars, you can write whatever you want in the comments as well. It can be mean, nasty, weird, whatever you want, as long as it is a 5-star review. And we are on Patreon as well, so if you can chuck in a couple of dollars there, it genuinely helps this show run. But once again, thank you so much, Cecilia. And what should we be checking out? SugarHope Records. SugarHope Records. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.